Yes, Texas is a rival.
I have a river of Kool-Aid for basketball.
It's time to step inside the hog pen.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome into another pod exclusive here from ITHP. Razorback Zach, Marcus, MC, Carlton, and Dmad hanging out with you. A little bit of a controversial topic for this episode. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. A lot of people are not going to like what we have to say, but like we do every week, and like we've done in the 9 years on this show, we just say what needs to be said, right, MC?
Absolutely. I mean, we've always said that we're not going to sugarcoat anything, and if we smell a little BS, then we're going to call BS.
Well, and I don't know if this is true BS, but what we're going to talk about and the way that it's being handled, I do say is BS, and we're going to go ahead and jump off into this. And the Little Rock Touchdown Club has had some amazing speakers over the years. Just a few weeks ago, well, I say a few weeks ago, about a week or so ago, by the time this episode drops, Madre Hill, Anthony Lucas were the guest speakers at the Touchdown Club. And, they were talking about the history and the legacy of the Razorbacks. And I want to play a clip from David Basil. And this is kind of where we're going to be kind of centralizing our discussion for the night. So let's go ahead and see if we can play that clip.
I'm just going to make a commitment right here. Everybody gets irritated with me up on the hill anyway. So all these guys up here, if they won any trophies, any plaques, any jerseys, they're all sitting in a storage unit somewhere in Rogers. And Dean Weber told me, he said, David, I feel like, and this might have been under Jeff Long, I don't know, and I don't really care. He says, I feel like they're dismissing everything that was done before 2000. So I don't know where the Grantland Hill Trophy is. I don't know where the Cotton Bowl Trophy of the 60s was. I think they're all in a storage unit somewhere. So here's the deal. I'm just telling you. I don't care if Hunter Yurchek wants to do it or not, but Chancellor, here's the deal. These guys and all of us who've played for the last 60 years, 75 years, we're coming for that stuff. And if you don't want to put them in the athletic department, we'll find a place to put them somewhere. I'm just telling you somewhere. All these guys, these great athletes. So I'm marking it right here to where Chancellor Robinson, if you want to put him in Old Main, if we're going to find a barbecue restaurant in Fayetteville, I don't care. But the history of this program is not being represented in the end zone complex that was built a few years ago.
That's some pretty harsh words there from Basil. And the one thing that kind of sticks out to me about that is, just pretty much the blatant disregard of like, I don't care if Hunter Yurchek wants to do it or not. And he just completely dismisses him off to the side and starts talking directly to the chancellor.
Well, but MC, at what point do we stand up and applaud that? Because for years,
I'm with him. I'm 100% with him.
The athletic director has dismissed us, the fan base.
I think there's blood in the water.
I think there's a lot of blood in the water. Absolutely.
When you have David Basil, one of the biggest sunshine pumpers out there, turn on you like this, there are serious problems in the administration of that athletic department.
Yeah.
Where they care more about money than and here's the thing. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I was watching SEC Nation this past Saturday. They were in Athens for Georgia, Texas. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they, how they do a little drone show where they go to facilities in the stadium and everything. They were going through the football facility, the workout room, the front entrance and everything. And every trophy, every accolade, every trophy that the University of Georgia football program has ever won was out front in this giant atrium. Glass roof, what looked like a glass roof. It may have just been one of those lit dome type things. Just Hall of Honors that were out there. Every accolade, everything that Georgia has ever done in the history of their program was out front. And you're telling me that we can't use. Guys, do y'all understand? We've got 4, and I can name 4 right off the top of my head of the greatest Razorbacks to ever wear the jersey that we can use as a recruiting tool, 2 of which are in the NFL Hall of Fame as we speak. Steve Atwater, Dan Hampton, Brandon Burlsworth, and Grant Morgan. 4 of the hands down best Razorbacks. I would mention Dmad, but come on, or DMAC, because come on, that's an obvious answer. That's an obvious answer.
Dmad's a great Razorback too, by the way.
DMAC is an obvious answer, but you'll get my point. Why in the hell do we have all of this stuff from the 70s, the 60s, and the 80s shoved in some damn storage building in Rogers like we're ashamed of it?
So what's the importance of it? What could that stuff be used for in the future? Like, how is it going to affect a 20-year-old kid who doesn't give a rat's behind about what happened in the 70s?
Here's my take on it. I think it's simply at this point, and you take into consideration the status of the program right now, which is not real great. You show the history of this. You show that this can be and has been not just a nationally relevant program, but a program that knows how to win. I don't care if it is 30, 40, 50 years ago. You show that, look, we haven't always been in the situation we're in right now, and it makes this an anomaly and out of the norm, even though it's been this way basically since, the motorcycle wreck. I mean, it's basically been trash since the motorcycle wreck. You've not had any kind of real national relevancy, but you show this, and then maybe at that point when you're bringing in these recruits, even if it doesn't have an impact on them, it's going to have an impact on the parents that are with them. Be like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember in 88 and 89 when they were back-to-back Southwest Conference champions.
Use it as a recruiting tool, because
why is it so important for the fans to see this too?
For a fan base that lives on nostalgia, it's perfect, because we have not been, like MC said, we have not been relevant in so long that we live on nostalgia. When Nutt was here, everybody thought he was the savior of Razorback football. I mean, MC can kind of...
Oh, yeah. I mean, that 98 season, I mean, he comes in and has the start he has after we had been irrelevant since joining the SEC.
Yeah.
He comes in and has that season, and people are like, oh, my God, what is going on here?
The first thing and the first name everybody brings up when either the athletic department comes open, the AD comes open, or head coach comes open, who's the first name they drop?
Nutt's usually the first name they drop.
Nutt is the very first name they drop. No matter where he is, no matter what he's doing, that is the first name everybody says. Why? Because he was the winningest coach next to Coach Broyles.
Mm-hmm.
At the University of Arkansas. We live on nostalgia. But when you've got all that out there, you're proud of the history you come from. If you want guys to come here and not think of it as a career killer, if you want recruits here that want to play in the SEC, that want to be at a relevant program, you have to make it look like you're proud of the program. Because if you believe in something, make them believe in it too.
There's a new resident of Hot Springs that had a very damn good line, and this is a proud damn state. And honestly, that's the most true thing that he's probably ever said.
For all the warts of his coaching ability, he did understand the history of the program and how important it is to the whole damn state, as he put it.
Caveat off of what Dmad just said. Why is it a proud damn state? What makes it such a proud damn state?
Well, okay, so let's just take me for instance. I was about 10 or 11 years old. I went to my first football game. Didn't know the history at the time. Wasn't aware of everything that had gone on in the 60s and 70s and how much of a powerhouse this program was at that time. But going to the games and being around my uncle, who exposed me to it at an early age, made me want to learn more about it. And so it's kind of like, when you find out that you have a grandfather or your grandfather's brother was, and this is it's on a much different scale, but let's say that you find out that they won a Purple Heart or something like that. You want to learn more about it. And so as I learned about names like Dan Hampton and Steve Atwater and Lance Allworth and Joe Ferguson, I wanted to learn more about the history of the program and know holy cow, these dudes came from Arkansas and they did this. And so it's kind of one of those things, and just putting the stuff out on display. And I like the fact that Basil brought this up, because I was not aware that none of this stuff was on display. I had no idea that it was shoved away in a storage container somewhere to be forgotten, like an old photo album.
When they remodeled the stadium back in 2013, 2014, all that stuff was put in a storage locker. And the original plan, and again, I could be paraphrasing here. The original plan for that north end zone was to display all of those trophies, similar to how the Hunt Center at Baum Walker is. That was what the north end zone was supposed to be. Was that Hall of Honor was supposed to have all of those trophies in that little area. So when you walk in the Burrell Center, if you go to the left, you're going into hog heaven.
Right.
The Hall of Honor is immediately to the right. It's where it's where the Broyles Award is. It's where Burlesworth's locker is. The quote unquote the Hall of Honor, the 3-inch pictures of the greatest Razorbacks, as Basil put it in his comments, things like that. But every trophy was supposed to be in there. So look, I have to ask, why isn't the boot in there when it's there? I know it hasn't been there, but the boot could be in there. The Battle Line trophy could be in there. The Outback Bowl trophy could be in there. All the Cotton Bowl trophies that we won.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my question it becomes now, okay, what if that was the original plan? What changed? What changed, and who made the decision to not put this stuff out on display? Is it simply because it's old?
I was about to say, I dropped something in our group chat for y'all to look at. Whenever I was in middle school, obviously I was a kid, but it was something that it tapped into not only the kids, but also into the adults. Mm-hmm. There was a poster that was given out, said the ultimate Razorback, and it had different skill sets of what made the ultimate Razorback. You had the vision of Ryan Mallett, the arm of or the speed of or elusiveness of Matt Jones, the quickness of Felix Jones, the grit of of Calcagney. I can't remember his name.
Ron Calcagney. Yeah.
The size of Steve Atwater. I mean, it's just all these things that go back to how you can make your program back to the way it was, and what it defines being a Razorback.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think has been lost, is we don't know what a Razorback, we know what the Razorbacks are, but the kids that are coming out of states outside of Arkansas even kids inside the state of Arkansas don't know what a Razorback is. Seeing Carius Kern on LSU the other day kind of hurt me.
You got to think, kids now that are coming into college weren't, this is going to suck saying, some of them weren't even born when Dmad was running up and down the field.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't know. All they see is the history. Okay.
The most successful point in any of the players' lives of Arkansas, outside of Monte Harrison, was the Bobby Petrino era. And before that, they were probably at most about 6 to 7 years old of the Bobby Petrino era. So they didn't get to experience the ups and downs of the Houston Nutt era, and realizing that Houston Nutt, because I grew up in Houston Nutt era. We get to see a lot of ups and downs in that era with, the flying of the plane above the stadium, Fire Nutt, after he won, 8 games in a year?
Yeah, well, but at the same time, look at all the big moments. Somebody told me today, and I'm going to get off in the weeds just a little bit because we can save this for another time. And I didn't really think about it until I sat down and started comparing the two. Somebody said, and I forget who told me, that Houston Nutt was basically the James Franklin of his time because he never could win the big game. Think about it.
That's a great comparison.
Think about it. Both SEC championships. Everybody's arguing, well, he wasn't out there doing all of that. No, but everything points back to the head coach. Okay?
Right.
But here's the thing. All right. So if I'm a 20-year-old kid, I want to know, where was this program 20, 30 years ago before me? Where was it at? Because it can't be as bad as it is right now. It cannot be. You're trying to tell me that kids nowadays are looking at this program going, oh my God, we're not good. So how in the hell did we recruit somebody like a Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, Peyton Hillis, Matt Jones, Steve Atwater, Ron the list goes on. It's because we were once great and we're trying to get back there. And they believe in that kid that they're recruiting can get us there. Okay?
Well, and I'll go a step further off of what Basil has talked about with history.
Are we a product of a failed NIL system?
Right now, yes. Yes, 100% right now. But there's a bigger issue there too. And this has been discussed on and off for the entire tenure that Pittman was here, because there was zero emphasis put on in-state recruiting. And if you look back over the history of these Razorback teams, like what Zach's talked about, like in 2006, when you went to the SEC championship, when Nutt first got here in 98, in 2002, when you went to the SEC championship, if you look, all of these teams have one thing in common, and it's that they have homegrown talent, and the homegrown talent is not just overloaded on the roster, but it's guys in key positions. And I'm going to take Dmac out of the mix because Dmac was just such a unicorn. But if you look beyond him, okay, you look at a Matt Jones, you look at Jeb Huckabee, Peyton Hillis, these guys that played high school ball here, they are in key positions. You have to get the really, really good Arkansas players.
Did you hear the story of Madre's recruiting?
Yeah, I did.
When Danny Ford walked into his living room and said, I don't want you. You're not going to rush for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he basically, and it was a genius move because he knew Madre liked a challenge.
It was a tactile move. Can you imagine where this program would be had Madre not been at Arkansas? Let's say he suited up for MC's second favorite team, Ole Miss. All right, but my point is, guys, look, the fan base themselves, and now you've got some of the biggest names in Razorback history finally going, enough's enough.
Yeah.
Enough. When you get Madre Hill, Anthony Lucas, Darren McFadden, all
Peyton Hillis, another one.
Yeah. Enough's enough. And now, when you guys think of Razorback football and everything that has happened in the last 20 years, who's the first name you think of? David Basil. Because of the Golden Boot, because of the Battle Line, the Broyles Award.
Yeah.
The biggest names in football coming to the Little Rock Touchdown Club. David Basil. Now you've got him. Okay. He's a positivity ray of sunshine. But now that you have turned him, and he basically said, Hunter Yurachek can go to hell. We're going to get this done. That's not a good sign. And that's not something to be proud of.
Well, and not only that, but the week prior to when he made these comments, when Madre and Anthony Lucas were there, the show prior to that, when Greg Sankey was there, he basically all but told Greg Sankey, hey, you see this guy over here? And we all know who he was talking about, the guy that works at Stevens, former quarterback. Talking about him, he's like, this guy over here is basically a genius. And man, I hope one day we can see him as an athletic director. I mean, that's just basically calling out your current administration and being like, you need to get out and we need this guy in.
I was about to say, do y'all think there's too many Chiefs and not enough native Arkansans or even cross-planted Arkansans? Somebody that grew up outside of Arkansas, came to Arkansas and realized how special this place can be given the right leadership.
I think, just my opinion is when your athletic administration takes a guy like Kevin Trainer, who has basically been in the program for however long he's been there, 30 plus years, and you push him out for really no good reason. You push him out, I guess, to save money or whatever. I don't know why you would take a guy like Kevin Trainer and push him out, because Kevin Trainer has been the epitome of the Arkansas Sports Information Department for as long as I can remember, well respected across the SEC. But then you push him out, and not only is he pushed out, he's pushed out by a guy that has no ties to this state. It puts a statement out there that, we don't care about whether you know what a Razorback is or, that you love the helmet, to put it in Coach Nutt terms. That's not important anymore. Being an Arkansan doesn't necessarily mean you need to be in the athletic department. And I think you've got to have somebody. It may not have to be your athletic director, but he's got to have people around him that have been around this program that understands what it means to be, when he gets ready to make a decision, you have one of these native Arkansans like a Kevin Trainer that can look at him and say, hey man, that's not going to go over. That's going to be a lead balloon. You really don't want to do that move.
The program took a massive shift, not the other word. And it became more about corporatism. Whenever Walmart decided that they would only donate if they were a premier sponsor, and if everything just became more corporate, it wasn't about fans at that point. It became more about driving up dollars and increasing concession prices, increasing ticket prices, making these seat changes to where you have all these people that are sitting in the quote unquote Gucci seats, and then all this stuff with the north end zone. Guys, how many times have y'all looked in the north end zone and that thing's been packed?
Not since the Texas game of 21.
Never.
Exactly. So, Dmad, you said a very important word that I want to, well, a couple of words. You said the words culture change. Okay. That's exactly what this program needs. Every 4 years, on average, we change head coaches in the last 20 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. But the culture never changes.
Well, the culture shifted to more corporate setting. It all became about who's going to be whose logo is going to be here, whose logo is going to be there.
You need to
because the athletic director doesn't care about you.
There you go. Because you got to go higher than just the head coach. You got to go higher because it starts at the top, right? It all funnels down to a chain of command, right? All right. So you got the head guy, you got the athletic director. All right. Then you got all the peons under him. Then you got the head coach. Then you got all his peons. And then you got all the players, right? You got team captains and all the peons, all the way down to the walk-on freshman that's never going to see the field except from the bench, right? Mm-hmm. Well, okay, think about this for a second. If the guy at the top sends down an order of whatever, like this is how it's going to be, by the time it gets to that freshman, you know that thing's changed about 5 different times because it's going to get to the head coach. The head coach is going to go, no, I don't like the way that's going to be ran. Let's do it another route, okay? Then he tells that to the team captains of each or the coordinators, okay? And they go, well, let's change it and do it this route. Well, by the time it gets to him, it's completely different than what the athletic director said. You have to look higher than just the head coach. Can anybody tell me in the last 20 years who was the one school that has more head coaching changes than any other school in the SEC?
It has to be
Auburn.
The University of Arkansas has 6. The next guy in line, 3. We have double the head coaching changes in 20 years. Here's the problem. The culture's never going to change if you continue to just change head coaches.
Well, and I've said this before. Arkansas is one of these programs that it can be successful, but everything has to be almost perfect. Like it has to be 98 out of 100 for Arkansas to be successful. You have to have the right leadership. You have to have the right coaching staff. You have to have a bumper crop of recruits that come from in-state. And then if you miss on any one of those positions, let's say you miss out on some in-state recruits, or you make a bad hire as an assistant coach. It doesn't even have to be the head coach. If you make a bad hire at coordinator, it throws everything out of whack. And then when you stockpile those bad hires on top of each other, like we've done since Petrino was fired, you're behind. You're so deep down in the hole. It's like you keep trading out the shovel for a backhoe, and you can't get out of it. You try to climb out of the hole, and you just dig deeper and deeper.
It's getting to the point with Juracek. I say last year, I think was the tipping point for me. With whenever I went to the Ole Miss game, and we got absolutely stomped. I've just got to the point where this is unacceptable, and to say anything besides it was unacceptable was a laughing stock to me. And Hunter just decided to say, okay, man, this is fine.
Boils down to this, is if you're going to sell something, you yourself have to believe in it first.
And Peyton Hillis brought that up, when he was asked recently about what's wrong with the football program, what's missing. He brought up the fact that there's no pride for the name on the front of the jersey. It's all about making your money and the name that's on the back of the jersey. And again, I know I sound like a broken record here, but you go back to recruiting in state. You go back and you find the 2025 version of Peyton Hillis, of Brandon Allen, of Matt Jones, of Drew Morgan and Grant Morgan. I mean, those guys, Hunter Henry. Yes.
There's a kid, and I think he's in Greenwood. Okay. One of the best quarterbacks in the state, and Arkansas never freaking looked at him.
He broke every state record that existed.
You have to
okay, and they never freaking looked at him. That's the problem with this.
I have one big problem with that. Is one big red flag on Bobby Petrino's record.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
yes.
I am the biggest Bobby supporter that you will probably meet at this point.
Really? You think?
But that is one thing that I have no idea why he hasn't looked at him. From the interview with DJ Williams,
yes,
you could tell this guy is cerebral. And I don't know if he's just wanting too much NIL money, because guess what? Hunter even said, we set up Pittman for failure. And that is something, if I were Pittman, I'd be going on every single news show and talking about it, how Hunter set him up for failure and he never had a chance.
Well, and in my opinion, that's a fireable offense, because if you're setting your football coach up to fail, then what are you doing? Why do you have the job? If you're setting your coach up of the biggest revenue producing program in your entire athletic department, and you admit that you're setting him up to fail, how do you still have a job?
Listen, LSU has forked up the money to fire Brian Kelly. A&M has forked up the money to fire Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
I also heard that there was a LSU alumni that was ready to write the $50 million check too.
Yeah, I heard that too. To kind of bring this full circle and push us towards the finish line here, how do we fix this, guys?
We the fans can't. The only way that we can have any kind of impact is to stop going to games, which we all know that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Even in Morris's downfall, there were still 10, 15,000 people in the stands. You've got to make a statement. And I'm sorry, in this day and age, I know running to social media, clicking on a keyboard is the way everybody's going to try to make a freaking statement. I'm sorry, that's not how you do it. Nobody gives a shit about what you say on social media.
First thing that this athletic department has to do is take off the damn sell tickets on SeatGeek part of ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
Amen. Do not sell tickets on a third party if you're going to do that. Don't.
There's a link. If you go to ArkansasRazorbacks.com, there's a link to take your tickets straight over to SeatGeek. If you sell your seats, you need to sell them via the university. If you are the university, what money are you getting from your tickets being sold on SeatGeek? Not nothing. And if somebody can't make it to the game and they want to get the $45 back from the seat, you can buy back the ticket. And guess what? Make a tab like you did for the NCAA Super Regionals and say single game tickets.
All these corporations that are buying up these tickets and not going to games, that's your problem. That's your freaking problem. Asking these fans to fork over thousands of dollars for the Razorback Foundation and then the thousands of dollars more just to get season tickets is stupid.
So I remember back in the Arkansas versus Texas game where Matt Jones fumbled. There was that was when Sean Andrews was lining up at running back all year.
That's right.
I had a certain opportunity where one of my dad's friends had box seats and he gave them to my family. And so we got to sit in the east side box. Guess what? Those seats weren't filled, just like the north end zone isn't filled. So I have a plan for the north end zone. You take out most of the seats in the north end zone, and y'all remember what they did at the Yankee Stadium? They put all those plaques in left field.
Yeah.
Why not, instead of having all those unused seats, because they're $5,000 a seat, How about we turn that into an outdoor Razorback Hall of Honor where people can walk through it during the game?
Why not? What do you got to lose?
Money.
They don't have money to lose because ain't nobody sitting there.
Yeah, there's nobody sitting there anyway.
But that's the thing. That's why those seats are $5,000. They got to pay for that stadium somehow.
Here's how you pay for the stadium. You lower drink and concession prices, and you sell more. The Atlanta Falcons have done this for 10 years at this point. The Atlanta Falcons games are completely sold out year after year, and their concessions are sold out year after year because their concession prices are still $7.
The reseating plan that Yurchek had is another, to me, this is another check mark on the box of a fireable offense, because what happened with Bud Walton Arena and also with Baum-Walker Stadium is just nothing short of a travesty, because Bud Walton Arena, this was the first reseating since it had opened. You had people that had those seats since 1993 when the arena opened. I understand what he's trying to do, but those are your most dedicated and most loyal fans. You're talking about guys that have had these tickets for 32 years now?
32 years.
It's not what it once was. You look at the atmosphere of that regional game with Charlie Welch hit the home run. We have not touched that atmosphere since. And you know why? Because the reseating went into effect. And I can't tell you how many games I have watched, not live in person, but on streaming TV, whatever. And the seats that are behind home plate, you see at least one or two of the opposing fan base in those seats. That should be a cardinal sin. That should never happen. That should be your guys like Hog Noxious and the guys that have been the season ticket holders forever in that prime seating right there. And the fact that we have sold the soul of Baum-Walker Stadium and Bud Walton Arena for the almighty dollar. Are you kidding me? What the hell are we doing?
Not to mention Hog Noxious has not he said
he retired.
He retired. He quit.
Yeah.
He quit. And I've talked to several Razorback season ticket holders that I know personally that aren't renewing their tickets because of this whole reseating, because of the fact they just said, we can't do it.
You can look all over Twitter and see where people who had tickets in their family for Bud Walton Arena for 20, 25, even 30 years are saying, hey, we didn't renew because it was going to cost us double or more than double to keep our same seats, which is just completely asinine.
I will tell you as a primary source, my grandmother passed away back in, I want to say 2014, all the way up, and this was under Jeff Long. All the way up to 2014, my family had season tickets up in the northwest corner. I can't remember the section number. I want to say it was like 106, 109, something like that. Row 23, Michael Jordan. We had those seats 20-ish, 25, 30 years. My grandma passed away. And my dad called the Razorback Foundation to renew. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, we have to talk to Ruby Ray instead of you. And he's like, well, Ruby Ray passed away. And he said, well, you're going to have to renew as a first year. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to be able to renew as a 25-year seat holder. You're going to have to renew as a first-time seat holder.
See, that's crap.
But anyway, I will tell you this, the day that I proposed to my wife, I found those seats on SeatGeek. Drastically overpaid for them, just for the simple fact that I could go and propose to my wife in the seats that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. Kind of put my final stamp on this. We're never going to get our program back until we decide as Arkansans, enough is enough. People's got to do something. If you're not gonna stop going to games, wear a black shirt. Say the program is dead until we get somebody in here that is either a former Hog, a Hog fan their entire life, or just absolutely knows the state of Arkansas, because this place is different than Houston. This place is different than the University of Texas. This place is different than LSU.
Yep.
Here's the thing. I don't care who it is. Just give a damn about the program.
Well, and I'll go a step further than that. Give a damn about somebody other than the people that can contribute at the Broyles Matthews scholarship level.
Exactly. Because look at the three of us. The three of us are able to go to what? 1, maybe 2 games. None of us, if it weren't for our sponsored trips to Fayetteville, we wouldn't be able to go.
No.
Like Dmad, I'm going to put my final stamp on this. All right. I'm embarrassed to be a Razorback fan. I love my Hogs to death. All right. I really do. I will never stop cheering for them. But I'm just flat out embarrassed. I'm ashamed at the state of my program and the way that it's being ran.
We sold out.
And if I have to, and here's the thing, guys, and again, with y'all being my partners in this and all, if I have to use this platform to make my statement, to piss off the fan base enough so where they actually do something, so be it. Because that's how much I give a damn about this program. You know? And it blows my mind that the powers that be and the guys that control the fate of this program care more about the freaking money than they do about anything else. Because guess where that money comes from? Guess where 90% of the money comes from? Guys like us. Guys like us. Season ticket holders, like MC said, that have had seats for 30 years. Season ticket holders who've had season tickets for 50 years at Razorback Stadium. It's not coming from corporations that are buying up all these tickets because they're not showing up to these games.
No.
They're not. It's the average down-home, blue-collar fan that's spending every dime that they can scrape together to get to Fayetteville, because some of these kids are never going to get the opportunity to see the Hogs live. I didn't get the opportunity till I was 18.
I will say this, and this is my final point too. I understand this is a business now. This is financially driven. It is a business. It is a big business. It is a lucrative business. But you cannot sell your soul and lose the people like us. You can't lose who you are. You can't lose the people that are scrimping and saving every dime that they can so they can go to Fayetteville one time a year to see their favorite team play. You can't lose that. And you know, I've talked a lot of noise in the past about Frank Broyles, but the one thing about Frank Broyles was that when he would be at a Razorback Club meeting or he would encounter fans on game day or whatever it was, it did not matter if you gave $20 a month or if you gave $20,000 a month. In his eyes, those two were equal. One was just as important as the other. And the fact that we have sold out the people that live and die with every win and loss, the people like us whose weekends are ruined when the football team loses. You're mad for 3 days because you love this program so much and you want to see it succeed. You've lost those people because you feel like the current administration feels like those people are not important. That is your base. That is the people that will do without something they need at their house so they can buy tickets to go watch Arkansas play LSU or to go watch Arkansas beat Texas when they come to Fayetteville. And you have just completely shut those people out in favor of corporations that are going to take the tickets, and if an employee doesn't use them, well, they'll just put them back on StubHub or SeatGeek or whatever and sell them for 3 times the cost. Hallelujah. That's not what this program is. So we need to wake up and get people in there that understand who the core fan base is. And I'm not saying you have to cater to them, but you have to at least make them feel like that they are appreciated. Hallelujah. And I step down from my soapbox and be done.
I've quit watching Razorback football this year. I cannot physically do it. I cannot do it. I cannot bring myself to turn the game on, whether it be on the radio or on TV or even go to Fayetteville. I've had a couple people that tell me, "Hey man, come to Fayetteville." No, I'm good, man. I can't. Do you know how hard that is? That I can't even turn the game on. I can't even pick them when we do our SEC pick'ems anymore. It hurts. And I get it. But when you're as passionate about this program as the three of us are, it just blows your mind because we know where this program could be with the right guys in place, with the right talent at the positions that they need to be in. We've seen it. That it hurts knowing where it's going and what has happened in the last couple of years. And for that, I'm going to step down from my pulpit and say, hey, check out the live show, Facebook and YouTube, and right here on your favorite podcast provider. But we thank you, each of you, for listening to this very special episode of Inside the Hog Pen, the podcast edition. For Marcus MC Carlton, Dylan Dmad Madden, I'm Razorback Zach. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Until then, so long, everybody.